Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast. And welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
Come on in, turn off the lights, and share some scary stories.
I don't normally post on /X, although I believe I shared this once a few years ago. However, I'm too lazy to Greentext in an entertaining way, so I'm just going to type my experience straight. When I was young, I used to stay often at my grandparents'. Most of my family has lived close by one another, on a couple hundred acres of land in South Carolina. That is to say, I could stay with my grandparents often, because they lived well within walking distance. There had always been talk of the house being haunted. Anecdotes mostly. Great-grandpappy tucking my mother in when she was a child, after he had passed, that sort of thing. Regular stories you'd expect to hear from your grandparents. I never put much faith into them, and really, I still consider myself a skeptic. Granted, this incident ignited an interest in the paranormal that I'm aware is at odds with my general disposition. So when I was 10 or 11, or maybe even a little older, I remember sleeping on my grandparents' couch. My grandfather turned in late, 1 a.m. late. I normally went to sleep not long after him, because I slept in the living room, and that was where he watched his old movies and the late night show. This particular night, though, something definitely felt off in the hours before I went to bed. Like the dogs, who were normally too energetic for their own good, were aloof. I remember that specifically because Marky didn't even bark and growl at me when I came over. That dog was one of those poodles that would not shut up. Anyway, I woke up that night with what felt like a hand pressing down on me. Back then, I didn't know what sleep paralysis was, but today I do, which helps with the skepticism. Like I said though, that night I woke up to some horrendous pressure on my chest, and with my entire body being unresponsive. It wasn't pins and needles though, more like things had just stopped cooperating. The couch I was sleeping on was just beside the door, between a front-facing window and the front door specifically. The latter was open, the screen door and storm door both, with the outside light still on and shining into the house. I remember a distinct lack of insect chirping. In South Carolina, late at night, the crickets are always chirping. Standing in the threshold of the door was a figure. I can't recall much of its body, except that the figure was absolutely masculine, because then, and in the intervening years, and now, I always think of it as a he. I want to say, but admit this may be a memory after the fact, that the man's body was shadowed, maybe because of the light, maybe because that's just how it was. Again, I can't recall much on that front, but what I can 100% remember is that he had a deer's head. Like full-on a deer's head, with antlers and everything. And it stood over me. I don't remember it looming exactly or staring at me in a threatening way. Actually, what I can remember is being really confused then, as well as after I woke up, as in regaining control of myself. The confusion was and still is odd to me. I'm not even sure of the right way to phrase it. For a couple of years, I thought I was a deer dreaming of being a human. I know exactly how weird that sounds, and no, I'm not, nor have I ever been, a furry. There is just this lingering doubt back then. I still don't think the explanation just then does the confusion justice either. I don't really possess the words to describe it, just the strongest disconnection with who I was, almost to the same degree that I imagine someone suffering gender dysphoria might feel, except there was no shame or wrongness to the experience. just confusion. I never did stay at my grandparents' again, at least not until recently when Hurricane Irma was supposed to hit. My grandparents' home is best suited to weather a storm, so most of my family went there. And no, I didn't have another experience. What happened instead was that my youngest cousin went through a night terror, not just once but an episode every night while staying. Her mother told me earlier this morning that there was none last night, after they went to him. I haven't spoken to anyone else about my experience, and I'm almost afraid to ask her what it was she had seen. Anyways, I mostly just wanted to get this off my chest, and I realize I don't have a talent for recounting things. So thank you to anyone who took the time to read this. Some of it may be off due to the decade or so that has passed since the experience, but most of the gist of the experience is there.
Be me a 9-year-old kid. I live in a remote mountainous village in a war-torn country during the 90s. People are struggling, food is scarce, and the war has finally reached the outskirts of the village, causing multiple deaths. Everyone is scared shitless, and men of the village have few bullets and guns left and no electricity. One night in late winter, a boy was walking towards his home normally from his grandparents' house like he always did. Suddenly the whole town hears a loud scream, and many, including me, rush to see what is happening. We found the kid and his face was covered with dirt, with his eyes wide open and in shock state. After they pour water on his face and relentlessly screaming at him to say what happened, he starts talking while crying loudly and gasping. Heads, man big, bags, with chains. He looked at me, and I ran away screaming. Men ridiculed him and said he probably saw someone with bags going towards his home and he imagined things in the dark. Days later, another kid ran towards his home screaming the same thing. The next night, another kid went missing. Men decided to start a night patrol. All kids were told not to leave their homes after the sun goes down. They searched everywhere in the mountain until dawn. The next morning, the army arrived in town, and all men had to hide in the mountain so as not to be imprisoned. For nights, the village was terrorized not by invading army, but a strange creature that kept on knocking on doors at night and peeking through windows in the dark. The situation got so bad, even the army got wind of it and started searching for this thing/man. 2 days later, the army retreated back to the outskirts of the village, and the men went down from the mountain. Along with them, the missing boy. He had shallow cuts all over his body. He told them that a monster dressed in black plastic bags and chains and bones took him and beaten him and left him in the mountain. The area of the mountain was known to the village. For years, the village people used a cave on the top of the mountain for a dreadful reason. The cave was used to bury children and miscarried births. Men decided to set up an ambush for this thing. All got armed with little they had, and some even got axes and large knives. They waited through the entire night until it seemed they lost all hope they would find him. It was about dawn when what appeared to be a man dressed with nothing but black garbage bags and chains around his body with a large bag with bones sticking out of it came from afar. They waited from a distance to see and know more, what he does next. The man enters the cave and then comes out with a bucket full of dirt and empties it outside, revealing what to be the remains of a child's dead body. He then proceeds to skin the limbs and take the bones inside his bag. Shock faces .jpg in all men. Attack mode engaged. Man is caught, and after heavy beatings they discovered he has been doing this for a while, digging up children's bodies. Wacko thought he was some sort of wizard and wanted children's bones to summon devils to service him. The child was kidnapped for his blood. Needless to say, this was a war zone, and men didn't want someone scaring the shit out of their families more than they already are, so they killed the guy, buried his ass in the mountain and called it a day. The end.
Lived across from a graveyard for a year once. Some pretty weird stuff went on all the time. It was a 3-bedroom house with 1 bathroom. My daughter, her boyfriend at the time, my grandson, and another guy that was renting the 3rd room from us. It had a fireplace. One day, while in the kitchen and hear a thump, go to the living room and see that some of the wood stacked on the hearth had fallen off. Not the whole stack. Just 2 pieces that had been at the back of the stack. This happened on several occasions. Another day, vacuuming in the living room. Get an eerie feeling. Stop vacuuming and look around. Looks at the fireplace and the single large log that was sitting there. The log floats off the edge of the hearth and thumps on the floor. It didn't roll. Another day, I have walking sticks standing in a corner by the back door in the laundry room. Hear a commotion in the laundry room. Walk in to see the stick that was in the very middle lying on the floor 3 feet away. This also happened more than once. Another day, out back playing with my grandson. See a very furry dog with long black hair bouncing across the little thicket from the neighbor's direction. Thought someone's dog had gotten loose. Take grandson up to the steps of the back door because of a strange dog. Watch the dog jump and play like it's chasing a ball or something. For 3 minutes the dog is just jumping and playing and running around. I call out to it. It never hears me. The dog bounds over into the other neighbor's yard, spots something else, and runs back into our little thicket. The dog jumps like it's going to pounce on something, lands behind a tree. The dog never emerges again. Another day. Renter dude is going out the front door. 3 feet away from the front door, it suddenly opens all by itself. He stops. My daughter and I witnessed a figure of a man that seemed to walk right through the renter dude and out the front door. Renter dude never saw the figure, but turned to us and asked if we saw the front door open. Would occasionally get small flocks of crows that showed up at strange times of the year for our area. Crows would walk right up to me, within inches of my feet, and stare at me. I saw an old lady wearing a white dress belted at the waist walking through the graveyard. She was walking away from me, so her backside was facing me. Looked away for a few seconds. Looked back. The little old lady was gone. In the bedroom alone in the house. Hear someone walking around in the living room. Go out to check. No one is there. Happened all the time. I remembered some more. I walked into the kitchen and all the upper cabinet doors were standing wide open, though the renter dude had done it. Confronted him about it, he swears it wasn't him. A few days later, I was alone in the house again. Hear movement sounds in the kitchen. All the kitchen cabinet doors were standing open. That's the only 2 times that happened. That's all I can think of for now. Nothing horrible. Heard voices sometimes, could never understand what they were saying, and a little girl giggling once. My grandson was terrified of the bathroom.
Really don't post much. I also wouldn't call this story paranormal, but it's definitely the most scared I've ever been in my life. Me and my girlfriend, 17 and 18 respectively, we would leave in my car to take her home early and stop on the next road over from hers. The road was long and dark, fields on each side with a single abandoned house halfway down it, and another inhabited one at the end on the left. We turn around at the end and park on the empty side between the two houses, probably 60 to 70 meters of road on either side. Start doing teenage couple things like normal. My dumb ass leaves the battery on for music and air. We finish close to the time she is expected home. Go to start the car. It is as dead as I am going to be when I bring her home late to her very strict ex-military father. My family lives like 30 minutes away, so there is not time to hit up a favor. I suggest we walk her home so that she is not super late, and I will figure out my car on my own. Miss Chronic Anxiety is not about to walk near the abandoned crack house in the dark. Decide that since I am in the southern United States and I am a respectable-looking man, so a friendly neighbor might give us a jump. We walk up the road to the house at the end. The house is down a kind of long lot filled with junk cars and parts, already spooked to hell. Get to the front porch and can see the television on in the living room. Nice someone is awake. Inner door is open, and I knock on the glass outer one. Old man looks half awake on the couch but does not respond even though I am well within his sight. Dummy me. Opens the glass door and pokes head in. Hey, sorry to bother. My car broke down up the road and I could really use a jump. He keeps staggering up like he is trying to get up off the couch. This motherfucker is at least 75. Sir, can I help you? I really need a jump. Can I come in if you need help? Between his murmuring, I can make out that his son is upstairs named Joey. And Joey can jump my car, I just have to go upstairs and wake him. So you are wanting me to enter your home, right? I do not want to intrude. He tells me it is all right and Joey is upstairs. He points to the stairwell in the room behind him, all while still kind of rocking in place on the couch, like I said, like he keeps trying to get up but keeps failing. Girlfriend says what I want to say. She ain't going in there. Me, fearing her dad still more than all this, decides to go and find this Joey guy. I tell her to wait on the porch. I go in and up the stairs. The old guy kinda resettled into the couch. Whole house upstairs is dark. It is one hallway that has 4 doors, 2 on left, 1 on right, and 1 at the end. I try the first door on the left, the bathroom. The second door appears to be a storage room, lots of old people junk, boxes and clothes and furniture. Try the right door, it is a bedroom, but the bed is empty and made, more than likely a guest room. Start thinking about all the things I could have been baited into by this old man. My mind is racing and I am ready to find this Joey guy. It has got to be this door at the end then. Open the door and see a bedroom with a made bed and more random storage stuff everywhere. What the fuck there is, no one in here. I looked on the bed to see some sort of uniform. Looked a little like Navy, but I do not really know. Laid out neatly on the bed. Trousers, shirt, hat, and gloves. Oh shit, this old guy is gonna kill me. I close the door, practically rattling. Creep back down the hallway towards the stairs and down them. Checking all my corners for an old dude with a shotgun, just like Counter-Strike Global Offensive taught me. He is still on the couch. Oh, thank Lord. I open my mouth, maybe trying to get anything else out of him. Before I even speak, 3 big doggos run out of the kitchen and start barking like mad. I was really scared of dogs as a kid, so this definitely startles me. I just yell thanks again and run out the door and tell uneasy girlfriend, let us get the fuck out. One doggo follows us out the front door and all the way to our car. It stops about 10 feet from the car. Girlfriend and I are a few ahead of it. Dog barks a lot, then turns and runs back home. We give in. It is about half an hour late at this point, so we call her parents one road over to come get us. Not super paranormal or even interesting, but it gives me the creeps every time. I think about that uniform.
11 years old, living on Kauai in a tent on the beach with my family. Friend has a fight with her mum, so she leaves the beach and her mum asks me to go get her. Walk down the little stretch of road, the beach on one side, horse fencing on the other side covered in plants and flowers. It is getting dark as fuck, and it starts to rain. Keep walking and see my friend stopped under a street lamp right before a bridge. Talk her into coming back to camp. The fence is on the left side of me, the beach and friend on the right. I found myself drawn to a part in the fence that did not have plants growing on it, and one of the horizontal wood slats looked broken. Look inside the fence curiously. 2 massive glowing red eyes surrounded by complete and utter darkness, like pitch black shadow with red eyes. Mind goes blank, and I found myself right next to my friend who kept walking. Tell her what happened. She does not believe me. I go back to the same place I saw it, checking the entire fence for a hole. Did not see shit the second time I saw it. About 15 years old, laying in bed in the dark. 2 red eyes peek over the edge of the shelf and kind of run down the length of it, looking down at me. Almost have a heart attack. I was used to seeing creepy shit, so I just closed my eyes and finished. Open my eyes and it is gone. The beach was called Anini Beach, and in the left of the picture, you can see the polo fields and horse corrals. It looks a bit different than it did 18 years ago, though. Another one, same bedroom as the last story. 16 years old, sharing a room with my sibling. Custom-built bed stands 3 feet from the floor with plenty of space underneath. Foot of bed faces a 2 by 2 foot closet that faces to the right. No door on closet, so I hung a small stuffed animal just because. Falling asleep when I feel hands or fingers running up my leg. Kick the shit out of whatever it was because we had a couple pet rats that had gotten loose. It stops for a minute, but keeps going, touching my leg. I look down at the foot of my bed, and I see a huge head with giant eyes like a bug staring at me from the inside of the closet, like it is peeking out around the corner of the closet wall with an arm wrapped around the outside. I could barely see, but the window next to the closet had a little bit of light shining in. Alaska midnight sun. Thinking it was just the stuffed animal I had hung up in my sleepy brain, it did not register immediately that the stuffed animal was not shaped like that, and did not have arms. Close my eyes tight, and wake up my sibling sleeping next to me. Tell them to turn on the light because there was something in the closet. I am trying to sleep. Jump over sibling and flick the light on, but do not look at the closet, giving whatever the hell it was a chance to hide. And I did not want to see whatever it was in the light. Wait about 15 seconds. Look over. Stuffed animal is swinging in the closet doorway. I didn't sleep in that room for 2 months.
This next one is Al the barman telling his side of things of what he claims actually happened compared to Anon in last month's barman video.
Friendo showed me this here board. Great entertainment when drinking. I got one story too, but don't know how to do the whole Greentext thing, so I'll write it simple like. Here goes. About 5 years back, a friend of mine, well, more of a co-drinker really, invited me on a camping fishing trip to a cabin he and his gaggle of co-workers rented out. I only know one part of fishing,
which is copious imbibement of alcohol, but I figured I'll cover that part while Buddy and his co-workers do the other thing. He picked me up in his SUV with his girlfriend, co-worker, and co-worker's girlfriend. Now I know what you're thinking. Going fishing with ladies? Yeah, weird enough. Anyway, Ski, went to this lake cabin, and there even more work boys of his, and they brought girls too. Felt like a proper third wheel at that point. Disappointed too. They only brought some pissy lager and fancy brandy, which is like regular brandy but overpriced, which I loathe as it gives me the shakes. Figured I'd just get wasted fast and crash somewhere so I wouldn't have to watch 4 pairs of lovebirds talking lame shit. I worked at a pub at that time and had to see way too much of it. Now as they're hauling their stuff to the cabin, I figure I'll get a fire going, so I head for Buddy's SUV to get the sack of dry firewood we picked up at a Statoil on the way. I grab the damn thing and I get that shit sewer smell coming from everywhere as I haul the sticks to the fire site. Everyone's standing around looking at each other like they're trying to find out who farted. Decided, screw it. Start this fire fast and maybe the drag upward will blow this shit away somewhat. Dumped the sack on the fireplace, got back to the car, got a canister of gas and doused the thing. Buddy and his boys were giving me shit, but I lit it, and the fire sprang up. Shit smell got better, and then disappeared entirely. Fucking A. Buddy and his workmates started gearing up for their fishing trip. Not my cup of tea. I stayed drinking the beers, and because I didn't want to be entirely useless, volunteered to help the ladies with prepping dinner. Fishermen walk off to prowl for frogs or whatever. I'm stuck sipping beer and spicing the meat for cooking. Girls avoid me like I'm some kind of leper, but I couldn't give less of a fuck, so I keep massaging the meat. Dip down to smell it, and as I take a lungful of what I expected was spiced meat, I feel a rather robust smell of the sewer. At that point, I figured that this shit ain't fucking Pono. Smells don't just travel. Either they're there or they're not. Some kind of beastie stalking us. Very well. Went to check on my buddy's fishing kit. Found some pretty nasty-looking hooks. Outstanding. Took some of the meat and jammed it chock full of hooks. Put some pepper on it even. Put the hook meat into a plastic bag. Decided to put the meat somewhere out of sight so the beastie could get to it easy. There was a shit shack behind the cabin, so I took it there. Buddy and the gang came back not soon after. Decided it was too dark to fish. Go figure. Anyway, I waited for it to come back, and just as we set up to cook the meat, it did. First the smell, then soon after, a shriek, roar. Fucking thing banged its head into the cabin a few times and fucked off, trying to scream the hooks out. Near damn pissed myself laughing, while everyone was near shitting themselves. I imagine there was too much excitement for the urbanite yuppies, so they quickly decided to bag up and bolt. I wasn't opposed to it. The trip was shit anyways, and I got blamed for it. Said, "Wanna go back?" I'm all good for it. Fire should still be burning. Told the guys at the bar about it. They said we should have caught it and teach it to love Jesus. Pretty sure after what happened, that thing don't believe in God anymore anyways. That's about it. Cheers.
I officially believe in skinwalkers now. I know some of the stories are made up, but they have to come from somewhere. And like a month ago, my GF and I had a weird experience. Girlfriend and I browse 4chan together, by the way, and we both have read about skinwalkers. Perseids meteor shower comes around. Live in big city, so my girlfriend and I drive about 30 minutes out of town into the hills to go see them. Park on the side of the road between two farms. Pitch black outside save for the stars. Be looking for shooting stars. Hear what sounds like 10 coyotes start howling and yelping and making all sorts of noises over a hill a few hundred yards away, followed by the sound of a cow in a lot of pain. Do not think much of it. Probably some coyotes killed a cow. Keep watching shooting stars. Hear something cross the road out in front of my car. Again, just figure it is an animal or something and do not pay much mind. A few minutes goes by and I start to smell a really bad smell. Smells metallic, like often described, but also like a dirty, nasty animal, like a mangy creature covered in blood. Be a little freaked out. Hear something drinking from a water source nearby. Then, hear a sound that sounded like an animal, but it sounded like it was trying to speak and sound like me. It was in my exact tone of voice. Look at girlfriend who is freaked out and say, "What if it is a skinwalker?" We drop what we are doing and bolt to my car, peel out of there so fast, nearly come to tears on the way home talking about it and how scary it was.
Be 8 years old and going camping with my dad near Skeet Rock. At least I think it was Skeet Rock. It was one of the knobs, that's for sure. Dad liked to drink and grill. Said it helped him with the flames on his knuckles. Decided the best way to bring a grill on a goddamn camping trip was to just strap it with some bungee cords to the back of the truck. Didn't even bring a tent, just the sleeping bags. Get done grilling. Had some burgers. Propped up inside the bed of the truck and got some shut-eye because apparently I was dumb enough to believe that nothing could get 5 feet off the ground and into the bed with us. Wake up in the middle of the night and hear some scratching coming from the grill. Look over and there's some weird-looking monkey cat thing with horns like a goat. Kinda just stare at each other while it licks the barbecue sauce off the spatula. Then it ran off with Dad's cooler. Next morning, Dad wakes up and thinks I took the beer, doesn't believe me about it. We head on home, he still had a case of booze in the truck. Driving down the road, that fucking cat monkey fucker stumbles out of some bushes, swear he was drunk. Dad doesn't even see him, runs him over and keeps driving. Musta hit a buck. Fuck camping.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more Greentext will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.